I left in tears because I'd never sang that way before. I was A, afraid I'd ruined my, I'd failed, and B, I was just so shaken with emotion because it was just a whole other place. I had to go and search that emotion. I had to go and get that feeling to sing it like a lullaby to a baby, and it changed my life, and it changed my vocal life because I even now when I work with singers, I try to teach them that about dynamic. It's just something that, we don't really know we have until we explore it.
And so when did you get involved with songwriting? How did that sort of start?
Interesting. I'd always written songs since I was like a teen, but I always felt they were too personal for me, for other people. So I was like, nobody's interested in these songs. They're too cheesy. They're too personal. I was very judgmental of myself. And when I was at Concordia, actually when I graduated from Concordia, I guess it was around 97, and I was already performing. I had a funk band, an R&B band called The Jam. And a friend of mine, Adam Broughton, at the time, brought these guys who were a small record label out in the West Island. And it was kind of a hobby for these guys because they all had other industries and businesses that they were working on. But they wanted to create a record label for jazz and blues in Montreal and help artists. And that's what they did. They came to me and they were putting together a blues compilation. And I was gonna do like Stormy Monday and like a shuffle or some kind of standard blues. And I went, no, I think I can write something. And I wrote 2 songs for that record. And they were like, these are great, yeah, let's do them. And that was the affirmation that I needed as a songwriter. And so that was in 97, and that basically launched my career in the blues. In 1998, July, I was on the Jazz Fest stage in front of 8,000 people on the blues stage. And then my next album, 2001, $10 Dress, was all original. And yeah, it's just affirming. And then my last album, it's affirming as a songwriter, but as a songwriter, it's still like pulling teeth for me. It's an exercise, it's a muscle.
Right.
Some people sit down and write every day, and I don't have that discipline. For me, I have to kind of go away, to write and focus. And but it's nice to sing your own songs. It's really took my career to another level and my personal journey in music as well.
Right.
It's really songwriting. For me, I try to go deeper. I try to go deeper in myself and what can I share of my own experience as well.
You kind of beat me to my next question, but I was going to ask you, because I know Paul Delorier is obviously quite special to you, and you've worked with him pretty extensively over your career. How did you guys meet, and how did that duo sort of form?
Well, we started working together. We shared a drummer. So my drummer, Sam Harrison, was playing with the Don Tyler Blues Project, which came out of that Preservation Blues Review. The guitarist at that time was Corey Dybo, and he started working with Jonas. And so I had to fill that slot, and Sam said, you gotta try Paul Delorier. So I called Paul, and I said, hey, do you play acoustic at all? He's like, yeah, I play a little acoustic. And anybody who knows Paul Delorier or who have seen our duo knows he's a monster on the acoustic. And we started doing a couple of gigs, and then we did a couple more. And he was selling his albums because he had his group as well. And I was selling my albums. And then we said, let's do an album together. And we ended up touring together for over 13 years. 2 albums, and we traveled all over. Went to Russia, North Pole, Dominican, France, of course. We had a great time. He's still one of my dear friends today. So we have a great chemistry on stage and a great friendship, and that comes across on stage. So.
And with Paul, do you have sort of a standout performance with him that you'll just never forget?
Many. Many.
Sure, yeah.
I think, we played Jazz Fest 2012 perhaps, and we played what was when they first built the new stage, the first big stage, the one in the Place des Spectacles. I mean, playing the North Pole, going on a military tour, which is what we did. We went up there and played. We get in a Hercules and we travel, 12 hours north to the actual Arctic, the most northern inhabited place on Earth. And not many people can say they've done that. I've done that twice. And the time I went up with Paul, we had a blast and we got stuck up there for 10 days. So, because there was a problem with the plane, and then there was weather, and then Bosnia, and so we had 10 days up there hanging out in the snow and, with a bunch of Army folks and having a blast, so that's pretty cool. Great memories.
And when the bus finally gets there, there ain't nowhere to sit down, so the driver says, you can stand right here behind me, or you can wait for the next bus to come around. When that old man says, that's all right, I'll stand. I might look like a little old man to you, but I've been riding this bus for years and years and years, and I don't even know where it's going to, well, the driver says.
And the genres that you touched on before, I would like to say that in the newest album, Jawbreaker, they kind of all meld together in some way or another. It's definitely this eclectic mix of genres. Can you talk a little bit about the recording process for that album and just conceptually the songs and how that kind of all came together?
Getting me in the studio is really difficult. I don't know if it's because I move too much or I'm always touring or what, but I have a hard time just sitting still and going into studio. I'm a live artist. I love to get out there, do something, it's done, get the energy from the audience, give the energy to the audience, Finny, move on next, right? But when you're in studio and sitting there and you have to go over every little line, every single note, every breath, it's to me really tedious and not my comfort zone. So it's something that I resisted for a while. I've been working with the Ben Racine Band now for 3 years. Francois Tuffaut, who is the sax player and band leader for Ben, is, Don, you gotta do an album. Don, you gotta do an album. Don, look at, you're missing sales. You gotta do an album where every show we're playing, you gotta do an album. Finally, okay, I'll do it. He says, look, I'm gonna write it out. I'm gonna send you a proposal. And he put together a proposal. We can do this, this, this. It'll cost that. Here you go. And he's a doer. He put it down on a piece of paper within like 20 minutes where I went, I can do that. Yeah, let's do it. I brought in songs that I had half written. I brought in songs that I'd written 20 years ago. I brought in songs that I had in my head that I, had on my cell phone, and we worked on them. It's definitely a community effort, and everybody's energy and spirit is felt on that, on putting together the tunes. And I feel mostly, really, it's about the energy and the love, the commitment that people put into it, and the band was there for me 100%.
It's very interesting because I find sometimes it goes back and forth between these funny, almost humorous lyrics and then the more serious tone and serious issues that are being discussed. So it's kind of an interesting play there that you go through with your lyrics, I find. So that's really cool.
And I like that. And that's part of my struggle as an artist too. Am I funk? Am I rock? Am I blue? It's a country. I got a country-ish song on there. We actually recorded another one that didn't make it to the album, which was very country. So, yeah, I like having all those facets. I really like, because it's all part of me. I love to take things lightly and fun and just crazy and be silly. And then I also feel there's a lot of deep shit going on in the world that needs to be... Can I say that? I just did. But, I think there's a lot of deep issues that need to be expressed and explored. And as an artist, I think it's our responsibility to explore that.
So you're a pretty dynamic performer. Can you describe a show by Don Tyler Watson in just a few words?
It's gonna be fun, it's gonna be deep, it's gonna be joyful, it's gonna be moving, it's gonna be crazy, you'll have fun. For me, I truly believe in having fun on stage. And if I have fun on stage, and if I'm present, the audience gets pulled in. And I think it's so important to connect as well to your audience. So I think to describe a show is really about connection and an interchange of energy.
Want you to be no slave. I don't want you to work all day, but I need you to be true. I just want to make love you.
You're the co-founder of Vocal Expression Montreal, a company, I guess, which you founded in 2013. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's something that I put together with a friend of mine, one of my dearest, longest-standing friends, actually. I've done quite a bit of improvisation and studying improvisation, and I've done these workshops where you explore the voice, and that it's unlocked so many things for me personally, that it's something, and so had Sheila. Sheila Veerkamp was my partner, and we said we need to bring this to other people. I've been being asked for years, do you teach, do you teach, do you teach? And I just never had time before. It's an approach to learning to use your voice that we wanted to extend to everyone who loves to sing, not just working with professionals or people who want to be singers or, singers, who sing in choirs and stuff, but this is open to anyone who has a love of singing, which means we work with a lot of amateurs. We believe that the joy of singing is what, can unlock so much for your, whether you are a professional or an amateur. It's really exploring the voice, your own personal voice, and having fun in that. I've always used this analogy. If you have a group of 5-year-olds and you say, come on, everybody sing a song, they're gonna sing at the top of their lungs in such joy with so much fun. And that's our goal, is to tap into that.
And looking into the future, what projects are you currently working on in your musical career?
Well, we're working with Ben Ursine. I'm gonna be looking at writing in the fall again for a new album. Still working with the Ben Ursine Band, and I actually hope to do some writing with him as well. I'm still teaching more. Last year I was teaching at Sherbrooke University. So yeah, teaching more, touring more. We hope to be playing more in the States. I now have an American agent, so after winning the IBCs and all that, now we're starting this summer. We have a lot of festivals in the U.S. coming up, so I'm looking forward to that.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm just really grateful, and so grateful I make a living from my passion, which is singing. And not a lot of people can do that and say that, and so I feel very blessed.
And on the flip side, what are some of the challenges that come with pursuing a career in music?
Oh, not a lot of sleep. I think the biggest challenge, for me right now is doing it all. As I said, just doing it all, being your own PR, being your own manager, being your own, web designer, getting your band to get to rehearsal, doing all the scheduling, all that business stuff, the contracts, the taxes, all that stuff is the most challenging thing, I think, of being, because singing part is easy. I've always said, you can't pay me to sing. You don't have to pay me to sing. I love doing it. You have to pay me for all the other crap that I go through, all the day-to-day stuff, and like the tweeting and the twittering and which I'm still not good at, that's the stuff that is tedious to me. And, somehow I've managed to keep my name in the blues community in Canada, despite the fact that I only have 4 albums over a 20-year career, you know? 4 albums. That's not a lot. And it's not that I'm proud of that. It's as I said before, I'm a little shy of the studio. I'd like to increase that and do an album every 2 years like most artists do. But, you know, yeah, definitely want to do more recording, more touring, and get to the point where when I'm touring, all I have to worry about is being on stage and singing. I think it's beautiful. I was coined this phrase, you know, I think it was the Journal de Montréal that called me la reine de la blues à Montréal. You know, to me, that's a title that I hold dear to my heart. Not that I'm any better than anybody else, but being an Anglophone and being, you know, recognized as a blues artist in Montreal to that caliber and that level is very, I'm very grateful and proud of that.
You're my Tootsie Roll Daddy. It tastes just like a Tootsie Pie. You're my Tootsie Roll Daddy. It tastes just like a Tootsie Pie.
This singer-songwriter's music is packed with emotion, energy, and pure soul. Following a psychological trauma, she got together with a band and began writing music as a means to cope. For The Vocalist magazine presents, this is Honora.
Washing every inch of me to rid myself of poetry that came from in between your teeth that night.
My first steps were tentative, you know. I was aware that there was this microphone that could hear every single breath and crack that I was doing, so I was kind of just a little bit self-conscious in the first recordings and stuff, and now it's almost like the opposite. It's almost like the mic is transmitting the loudest cries I could possibly summon from my body out into the world. So definitely cathartic, yeah. It was kind of like me saying, you are allowed to be here. You deserve to take space and say what you need to say and be the person you are, and nobody can take that away from you.
Absolutely.
Where you have found me and hope that I will see you again. Do you remember me, remember me? You were down and you hope that I could drown.
When and where did you first discover music?
It was given to me. It was bequeathed upon me. Music was shown to me by both of my parents. My dad is a drummer, and he's been playing in bands after band after band since before I was born. And my mom is also a singer. She sang in gospel choirs when I was growing up, and she was in bands as well. That's actually how they met. And so in the house there was always, you know, Yes playing, the Beatles, Ella Fitzgerald, all kinds of music in the background all the time. And it was just like a natural part of the household and always in my head.
And how did you start singing? How did that happen?
I think it was just out of pure enthusiasm for music. Being a little child, I would just kind of sing in this awful off-pitch froggy voice and spin around in circles, like these childhood videos of like 2-year-old me just kind of la 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 with my little sister. And just for the joy of it. And then as I got older, maybe in high school, I had like a bout, dealing with depression, and singing was one way that helped me feel really good,
And from what I understand, you actually began writing poetry and things like that before you really started turning them into songs.
Looking back, I think this whole thing has just been about me stepping into my own shoes, because this kind of hesitant nature that I've had in the past, I think that's what I needed to kind of push through. So when I was 18 years old, I was sexually assaulted, I was raped. And after that, I was kind of in this just spiraling tornado of despair. I stopped leaving the house for a good bit. I was having these panic attacks and just, unable to function on any level, social, be it whatever. And I had just started CEGEP in Fine Arts at John Abbott College just a couple months after. And at that point, I was painting a lot and just kind of trying to deal with this and figure it out. And I hadn't told anybody yet at the time. And I had these sketchbooks that I was doing my preliminary drawings in for painting class. And I just kind of started writing in them just by habit. And I collected maybe 5 5 or 6 sketchbooks full of these drawings and little writings, trying to process what happened to me. I guess it was in my first year of Concordia, getting my degree in studio arts, when I had this flash of like, oh, okay, wait a minute, I stopped singing. Why did I stop singing? You know, what's happened in my life that would make music any less important, or if anything, now would be the time to do it, because, you know, it just came to the point where it was like, okay, the worst thing has already happened to me. No one can take anything else away from me at this point. So it was just like, well, I have nothing to lose. So I took these little scraps of poems that I had been collecting over the 3-4 years prior to that and took them to a producer called Sooks. And I didn't really know what kind of sound I wanted to go with. You know, I was listening to FKA Twigs at the time, which is odd given how I sing now. But we just put together this album within maybe 2 months. All the tracks were done, all the singing was done, and boom, out it went.
Right.
And that was called Unstuck.
Draw a circle with your bed sheets. Keep me warm.
So I was busking in the metro station, and I guess her boyfriend at the time had like taken a video of me busking, because people would like take videos with their phones and stuff like that. And then I was like playing at that spot one day, and she was walking by.
And I walked by, and I had seen Paul playing guitar in the metro. And the first time I walked by him, I kept going, and I was like, oh man, that's the guy that my ex showed me about. He showed me he's really good. Oh my God. And then I went to class, and then I saw him again a few weeks later, and I stopped him, and I got his business card, and I still have it as like this sweaty, wrinkly little thing that he was in his back pocket. he was busking, and he plays so hard. He's awesome. And I sent him a little message, and we got together and started reinterpreting some of the songs from Unstuck in a more kind of like funky, groovy thing that kind of he brings to the table. And it was nice because he had this flavor that I had been missing from the music I listened to growing up, the more rock and soul, you know, classic R&B stuff that I loved so much when I was younger. So it was sort of like a natural click. That's what you were missing. And yeah, that was Paul.
And from what I understand, Christian and Adam, you guys came from the same band?
Yeah, we're in another band. I don't know if we're allowed to name drop. We're Safe and Sound.
Part of Safe and Sound.
So, yeah. I started working with her with another group. It was called Asari King. And then from that, we ended up working together, playing a bit more. And then we ran into him, Paul, when we started working with him, and another drummer. And then I think you came along.
Yeah, I came along. We
after.
formed sort of a super group that had
a
a short time frame.
Yeah, a bunch of singers, 4 different singers and all kind of stuff. But then
we all focused in on...
started to work with Lizzie.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's in it. What's
Well, I feel that like each member is able to bring something different to the table, because we all have different backgrounds in the sort of music that we listen to, or other bands that we played in, or anything like that. So yeah, and I feel that, you know, each member is able to stand on their own as an individual, and you can rely on each person. And there's definitely a lot of love between everyone in the band, and a general sense of care for everybody. So I think that overall is able to, you know, make a sound that is, I think, unique, you know? Yeah.
And how would you describe your relationship with the band?
Sometimes I'm kind of like their mom, sometimes I'm kind of like their little sister, you know, friendship-wise, and it's really become a family unit. It's nice, like we all care for each other, and they have no problem telling me when I'm being ridiculous, and I have no problem telling them that they're being tardy for rehearsals, and it's fun. And I enjoy bringing them food and, you know, for shows, because I know sometimes they don't eat, and it's important to eat before a show. And yeah, Paul, I would say, is like a wonderful collaborator as well, because he's very open and, I mean, also awesome as a musician. He went to school, and he's very soulful and passionate, very, very much connected to it. And it's been wonderful to play with a group of men, of young men who are so respectful and understanding and positive. And that has helped me relearn how I deal with people too. You know, after feeling like in this like vortex of being lost and unable to have any social contact at all, to be in a band with 4 dudes, you know, 4 burly dudes or whatever, you know, sleazy musician looking types,
Right.
and it's just being an endlessly positive experience is like, okay.
Watching every inch of me to cleanse myself of poetry that came from in between your teeth that night.
Was part of your goal sort of trying to help or shed light on the issue of sexual violence?
I think that I want to say yes to that, and I think I am doing that. I obviously don't want my entire artistry to be just about that one thing.
Of course.
You know, it affects your whole life and it'll be part of me forever. But I don't want to be like this whole victim. That's not who I am. You know, spokesperson absolutely. So I hope that what I'm doing does help other people who are dealing with the same thing realize that it wasn't their fault and that you know they deserve to be happy and they deserve to, you know, find themselves again after something as debilitating as that. And I hope that we can have a more you know, productive and healthy conversation about the subject that doesn't put blame on people, because I feel like the tendency is to put blame when we have this conversation, but you can't help someone when you're talking down your nose at them. So.
And I wonder who loved you. Flying, the sun shines off your skin. Patiently waiting, the Saturns return again, turn again, turn again. Is this the last time I see you? Was I the only one who believed you? Gravity, mercy on me, please. Can you drag my friend back to me? I gotta know, where did he go? One goes out, another one coming in. Up and down and all around and deep within. her belly.
Well, Honora is my middle name. My full name is Elizabeth Honora Hanley. And Honora is also the name of the woman who adopted my dad. So, you know, I didn't know her very well. She was a much older woman and she passed away when I was really young. But it just kind of felt like a natural thing, you know, just have like a separation from myself, the human, and the artist, just in case things go further than I think they will and people are screaming a name. I'd rather it not be my actual first name that I'm used to hearing, you know.
Oh, what's next? Drop that on my knee and kiss.
And what role does each of you play in the songwriting process with Honora?
It's pretty much that guy.
Well, for like a lot of the songwriting, like you said, like when meeting Liz, like she had already been working on some songs, but it was kind of in a different vein at that time than what it is now. It was a lot more like there's a lot more kind of electronic elements to it. So when we got together, we kind of were taking those songs that she had at first and kind of preparing them for a band setting and a live setting. So we added a bunch of stuff. We kind of changed the feeling of some songs, and kind of along the way we've wrote in some new songs, and we have a lot more kind of prepared. So, but a lot of the process is, you know, like someone will have an idea, me and Liz will get together in my apartment first and run through some stuff, and okay, we got this part, we got that part, and we'll kind of soak it in for a while. Then we get together and there's something and we jam with the band, and then Ollie, you know, will be okay, he'll add more of the details, like that doesn't sound right there, and we'll kind of move it around. So that's kind of been the process of what it seems to be becoming at the moment. So, and everyone adds their own flavor to it, of course, you know, like, okay, let's have a break there, or let's move that part there, you know.
Working with a band and being able to jam with live musicians, it becomes more groove-oriented or rhythm-oriented. So I'll get melody and rhythm in my head first and then give those words, you know, so. And then sometimes I'll just get a line that comes to my head completely formed, like a little line. Like Clementine, my song Clementine, it's like, I'm watching every inch of me to rip myself a poetry that came from in between your teeth that night. That one came to me in the shower, just like as it was. What's really fun about having music online today is that people all over the world, if you're lucky, can hear it. So I have gotten lots of messages and comments and, you know, from people all over the world who have said that they've been through the same thing. And what's funny, I actually, oftentimes when I'm interviewed for whatever publication, article, blog, website, whatever, oftentimes the reason that the person is interviewing me is because either they or somebody they're close to has experienced the same thing. So it seems to connect with people on a level that maybe just, I hate to say it, but just music does not. You know, there's a more personal thing that I have chosen to be open about. So when I get letters from people, or when I get messages or comments, people saying, you know, I'm glad you're talking about this, or I'm not ready to tell my family this, but this happened to me and I don't know what to do. Like, I think that, maybe not the music, but I think I'm serving my purpose.
In terms of your performance style, how would you describe a typical Honora performance?
I don't know, I've never seen one. I go up there, I go up on stage and I have fun, and I hope people are having fun too. I think that what's happening is that lots of emotions are coming out, you know, not just party vibes and not just like emotional song, you know. I think it's a mix of both, and I think that's what makes it interesting for me, is that there's like a beauty in moments of sadness and a sort of desperation for joy and happiness, and that comes out kind of sad too, and that's what makes it interesting for me.
And one of the bigger performances you've had was actually at the Jazz Fest. So can you talk about how that kind of came to be and what that was like for you? It
was a total accident, actually. My friend Alicia Brilla from Kitchener, Ontario. Actually, I became a fan of her music when I was in college. There's a song called LA Hotel Room that's just so mournful and sad. This beautiful plucking guitar in her voice. Lyrics, beautiful, beautiful song. And, you know, I found that on YouTube when I was 19-ish and listening on repeat. And then I saw her on Instagram saying she was coming to Montreal over the summer for a Jazz Fest. So I had written her a message saying, oh my gosh, I'm so excited you're coming to Montreal. And then she said, why don't you come by backstage and we'll meet up or something? And I, of course, lost my mind. Like, I'm a huge fan of hers, so it was wonderful. And I did. Went backstage and met her after her 8 o'clock performance and, you know, hung out with her. And then she pulled me on stage for her 10 o'clock and I sang backups on her song, Bigger Than That. It was amazing. I walked on the stage, people cheered. I heard my name pop out a few times. Some people in the audience knew me. And must have been 10,000 people and beautiful night. That will be just one of the most beautiful memories I keep in my heart forever.
Awesome.
So thanks, Alicia, for that.
One of the most recent projects that you've done is you've appeared obviously on La Voix this past season.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to audition in the first place?
Well, my mom had a big part in that. She's my #1 fan and hugest supporter, and we kind of just reached a point where, you know, I was doing these shows at Honey's and other places too, and she came to one of my Honey shows and heard me do this whole thing, like the possessed, giving birth, whatever thing that she described, and she said that, you know, it was time to take a risk and do something bigger and not stay stuck in one spot, and she's totally right. So took the risk, we went, I did the pre-audition. Actually, wait a minute, La Voix sent me an email to go to the pre-auditions, and I did that. So when the time came for the blind audition, I was feeling unsure. I wasn't sure if, you know, French, Quebec TV was the place for me. I kind of see myself traveling a lot more for music, especially in the States and in Western Europe. That's kind of where I see myself. But, you know, what's the worst that could happen? Like I said, I only have up to go, so I took the plunge, sang an Etta James song, and lost all control once I got up there, man, those lights. And then here we are. Yeah.
And you made it to the top 12, right?
24.
24,
Top
okay.
20, yeah,
okay.
it's like divided in 48, 36,
Right.
24. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the experience like for you when you look back on it?
I can only say good things about it. I mean, I know people have mixed reviews, but I mean, knowing that it's TV going into it, you know, the happy moments surprise you. That's kind of nice. The other contestants have all been amazing, super nice, inspiring, talented, generous souls. The coaches are super nice. They're awesome. Charles Lafortune is actually a sweetheart, and yeah, I mean, it's been super fun.
What do you guys like most about working with Honora?
Oh, that's a tough one because there's so much to say,
Yeah,
so much positivity, lots of good energy. She's such a genuine, powerful artist.
Yeah, well, she's a driving force. She pushes it forward, and like a lot of the problem with other bands or projects is who's the focus and what's the reason why, and she's pretty much the reason why we're all doing this. You know,
So
she
we
knows
all
what she
know
wants.
what's
She's
going
going for
on,
it, and keeps us all in check and in place.
Yeah.
And she's not a diva, so it's really easy and like
Rare mix, you know. It's
yeah, it's really nice to work.
yeah. Actually enjoy it.
Like,
Say you're a decent guy. We all know that you're lying. Could I make it easier if I say it's silent? But you'll be on your way after leaving me broken, leaving me hopeless, leaving me worthless. But now I got new purpose. I got on that head. I got on when it's head. I got on that head. I don't wanna let you go. You ain't giving me no choice now. You satisfy my soul. I got something you should know now. So you'll be on your way after leaving me broken, leaving me hopeless, leaving me worthless.
I think my biggest accomplishment, career-wise, has probably been, you know, between doing La Voix and having this band and maintaining this band. But I think that the more important accomplishment that'll take me further than those individual things was the, you know, where I'm at with the whole self-love thing. You know, I think that that's the self-acceptance and, you know, the mindfulness that I've been practicing is going to take me further than any one opportunity could, because any of those opportunities given to me 3 years ago would have ended up, you know, nowhere. So. You know, I think it's time for me to move away from the subject matter I've been working with, at least in my approach. So, you know, I think like anything else, it's just personal experience is what's coming out. So today I'm experiencing different things, so that's what I'm writing about. So I'm still affected by what happened in whatever way, whether I'm aware or not, so that'll always come out subtly, obviously, I don't know. Give me your hand. Okay, try to keep your hand in the middle, okay?
Okay.
Like push back. Try to keep it in the middle. Frustrating?
Yeah.
Pull your hand away. Pull it away. The struggle stops. You know, so I kind of realized that I had to walk away, essentially. You know, the more I obsessed and held on to the anger, the worse I was making it on myself. So I had to kind of find a way to walk away to the extent that I could and make peace with it.
Do you have any goals as a band within the next 5 or 10 years where you hope to see this taking you?
I mean, we're gonna be at the top. We're gonna get as far as we can go, and we're gonna ride this out and have fun doing it. And
yeah, like it's moving forward, and it's all a positive experience, and we're all like trusting that things are constantly moving forward.
Yeah.
So there's no like nerves or anxiety with regards to that. At least on our part. I mean, like I don't know how the leader feels, because there's always, when you're running a project of this type, you always want things to go smoothly. Some things don't go as smoothly as you want, but you got to have, I guess, you have to have a strong unit to back everything that's going on. So
for the next year, we're going to release an album for sure. I would love to travel again to do some more performances. That was always fun to do with the band. And I don't know, I'd like to get on NPR at some point if I could. Those Tiny Desk concerts are super fun, so hopefully we could do that at some point. That would be lovely. And keep writing, keep composing, keep meeting people, and having fun. Yeah.
And sort of in the long-term process, where do you envision yourself maybe 5 or 10 years from now?
I see myself, you know, touring the world. Touring everywhere. I'd like to be in Central and South America, Europe. I'd like to be in Africa. I'd love to go to Asia. You know, Thailand, Malaysia would be amazing to share music there. I'd like to be at the point where I can do festivals, you know, anywhere in the world. Just be part of that ongoing cycle of keeping music alive in any city. That's what I would like to really do. To share and give as much as possible to as many people as possible.
Standing in line and not of appearance. Turn right, I wanna look at your face. And that night I wanna interpret it, honey. I don't remember. Is it time to go? I think that I should go. Is it time to go? I really think that you should go. Is it time to go? I think that I should go. Is it time to go?
This West Island band may be young, but they're musically wise beyond their years. With a new album on the way, they're ready to rock. For The Vocalist magazine presents, this is The Record Breakers.
We actually originally started off, which not many people know, is when we were doing our covers, we were under the name of Hayden and Friends. And we kind of came to a consensus that that was a terrible choice. And well, we needed a new name. And at that point, since we were doing heavily on the old school covers and all that stuff, we wanted something that was retro. So we were throwing out names and such. And obviously the topic of records came out a lot, vinyls and such. So somebody blurted out the Record Breakers, and we thought about that, and we're like, you know what, that might be a good name to use, and it stuck, and people, out of what we know, like the name, so we're keeping it.
Walk away from this place I'm stuck in.
Tell me how you guys met.
The way we met was all through a music school that we'd all gone to at a certain point. I was in a band with Devin at the time. Bella and Julian were also in a band, and Michael was in another band with members that I used to play with. But there came a point where there was a show that I was offered, the Montreal Beatles Day in 2014, and I needed a band to be put together for this. So already working with Devin, he was in. Bella, essential for the band, so absolutely in. Julian came along and couldn't be happier with that. And Michael came in with, at that point, simplistic guitar playing, and we've kind of developed him into this amazing person that he is now.
I started on guitar. I was taking lessons when I was like 11 years old, maybe. And then I've pretty much been singing all my life, took lessons. Then I only learned banjo about a year ago, and I pretty much just self-taught, and not the best yet, but I'm trying, trying really hard.
I've been playing guitar now for, it's probably approaching 10 years already. In terms of music in general, it's been my thing my whole life with other instruments, but guitar around that time, I've been singing for as long as I can remember, and I've picked up some other instruments along the way.
I started playing guitar when I was 11 years old, and I started learning the piano around a year ago now. I took a few lessons, but mostly I just used the internet and figured out what sounded good to me.
I started around grade 7, and then 5 years, and then now it's going to be around 8, so yeah.
I started in grade 8, and I was kind of just learning at school. And then I started seriously taking lessons in grade 9 at the same music school where we all met.
When it came to recording your first EP, what I noticed was that there was definitely a mix of genres. Every song sounded completely different, almost from different bands to some extent.
Yeah.
So, what was what was the writing process like for that EP?
Well, at that point, we really didn't have a main style. It was really like his stuff was still pretty bluesy and rocky, and mine was still more pop. Like at that point, I only sort of started getting into folk. And those songs were all written at pretty different times. Like, I don't know, 2 of them were written like a year before we even thought we were gonna write an album or have an album. So it's pretty.
We started writing together by that point
Yeah.
a bit. One of the songs, I think it was about a couple of songs on the album, we'd realized that if we write together a bit more, we can do some cool things rather than just my stuff and just her stuff. Yeah. And that kind of, I think, was the start of finding our sound, was when we'd actually collaborate a lot better, you know?
Because now it's like much more centralized on an idea. Like it's not very different anymore as it used to be.
So I want to take it back to the summer of 2015. I don't know if you guys know what I'm alluding to, but I heard that you performed at a show where Blue Rodeo was headlining.
Yeah.
So, and this obviously was a pivotal moment, I think, within
really
your
was.
band. So do you want to talk a little bit about that performance, how that even happened, and meeting Blue Rodeo?
Okay. Well, there's a thing that happens in the West Island here every year called Strangers in the Night. It's a fundraiser for the Starlight Children's Foundation. And we'd gotten in touch with the organizer, and at that point, my mom was doing a lot of the bookings, so she sent out an email. She's like, hey, we're from the Record Breakers. Here's a video of us playing a cover song. It was actually from our first show, because this is still a while ago. And he's like, yeah, I'd love to have them at this event. And we're like, what? He replied within like a day or two, and we were shocked. And at that point, we didn't really know Blue Rodeo's music, per se. I started listening to it, and I'm like, this is good. And then after the show, we'd gotten to speak to all of them, and they were the nicest people we'd ever met. And their music so strongly influenced us that from that point on, everything we did was different and had more of a meaning to it.
Why can't we turn our heads away? I was taught to kick down doors when I was stuck in between, but I can only close yours. I hope you'll do the same for me. Why can't we turn our heads away? Wash the love fade. Why can't we turn our heads away? Wash the love fade. And now it seems like I'm drowning. I feel the water flowing in. I've got a boat to go down with. I hope to see your soul within. Why can't we turn our heads away? Wash the love fade. Why can't we turn our heads away? Wash the love fade. Remember when our hearts were young, like children playing in the sun? Wait until the night is gone. No more thoughts of what went on. I will cry. Why can't we turn our heads away? Watch the love fade. Why can't we turn our heads away? Watch the love fade. Why can't we turn our heads away and watch the love fade? Why can't we turn our heads away and watch the love fade?
For the release of the EP, I heard that you guys had a sold-out sort of show venue. Do you want to talk about that experience?
Yeah, it was a lot of people there. We weren't expecting that many. There was some people coming in, like we didn't know them, like friends or family. We didn't know, there were just random people coming in, which was cool. We had friends, family. And it was a big deal because, I mean, it's our first EP, so we were really hype about it. So.
Pretty hype.
Yeah, really
I think
hype.
everybody, I mean, if you're a musician, I think everybody that is a musician probably dreams about releasing their first album. And so it was a pretty big deal. It was so full of people. It was so amazing. And the whole vibe of everything, it was just so exciting. Like, just to finally release it and have all this, like, all these people supporting us was just awesome.
Check, check.
Are you guys just maybe 136?
How do you guys go about writing a song? How does that work? Do you guys vibe off of each other? Or do you have lyrics that you then put music to?
Usually they would come up with the writing and all that, and we would listen to it, and we play over and get ideas, and then we find a structure, and then we put them together, and then so they're the main writers. They write everything.
We're
So.
the main writers.
But the answering machine said, better luck on the next try.
Sometimes it really depends on the song. It's not like we sort of like set a date and we're like, hey, we're gonna write a song together today. It's more just like, if he has something that he wants to show me, he'll send it to me, and I'll write something, and I write songs really quickly, and and so I just send it to him, and I'm like, oh, sorry, so this is like really rough. I wrote it in 20 minutes, but is it good? Should we use this? So we usually do that, and then it's like.
Didn't you write like 3 in one day or something?
I was
like
literally
Done
actually
that.
just gonna ask that question.
okay.
I had read, I think it was on your
Yeah.
website, that you're known to write 3
I
songs in
haven't-
one day. So how does that work? How does...
I don't do that anymore. I don't know. I should. But back, like, I think it was like 2 summers ago, and I was just, I don't know, I guess I had nothing to do that day. And at that point, like, we started writing one song. We were writing it backstage at the Corona Theater, actually. So we started writing it, but there were no lyrics. It was really just like a chord progression. So I had that, and then I had 2 other ones where I had no idea why I wrote them at the same time to finish that one, but I guess I was really bored and really inspired that day, and I just wrote 3 songs in one day, all pretty different styles too.
Yeah.
But I've done that day.
It was still good.
It's still good though.
Seems kind of slow, no? Or is
It's
that
probably because we slowed down.
okay?
Although I thought the tempo was still pretty good. Like we still.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah,
slowed
no, it's
down.
fine. It didn't really like.
You didn't really notice that much.
No.
I mean, we'll try for the next song anyway, but.
Pardon the mic, so I just play something? I guess we can play quietly. Sure.
What would you say inspires you to write songs?
A lot of the time, because I don't write songs based off of things that happen to me. So pretty much any song that I have currently is basically not based off of anything from my life, as most artists usually do. I really love watching movies. I really love watching TV shows, and I love reading books a lot. I'm really into that whole fandom thing and getting really invested into, shows and things like that. And so I get a lot of inspiration from storylines. So I don't go through very dramatic things in my life, but these people do, like shows, the characters do, so I just take it from there.
I do wait a lot of the time for some inspiration. Sometimes I'll try to play around with things, but if I have an idea coming often enough, which is really, I don't even know how it happens, but I love it, I'll have a chorus of a song and the chord progression just pop into my head right away. And I often enough will run to get my guitar, and I take my phone out, put the recorder on, get my lyrics. I'm like, okay, write this down before you forget it. And then I'll grow from there and extend it until I have something that I feel is solid enough or is really touching personally.
You won't show me. I said you
You guys filmed a music video for one of the songs, If You Need. So do you want to talk about how that filming went and where the idea came from, the concept, etc.?
The concept was pretty simple. I guess when I listened to the song, I always kind of just imagined this very simple, like outdoorsy kind of video since it's pretty folky. So that's what we went with, and the filming of it went pretty well. It took 2 days, I think, about 2 days. And I mean, we had like literally the best weather ever for it. If you could tell in the video, it's like the most beautiful days that we could have possibly gotten. Unbelievable.
When you touched my arm, oh, it felt so real.
You guys, you have two main vocalists, so how do you determine who takes the lead in a song?
Whoever wrote it.
As most of the time.
Yeah, okay, it has happened, I think, only with like one song.
Yeah,
really.
sometimes little choruses and stuff.
Little choruses, but overall it's, I mean, you wrote the song, you sing your song.
And how do you guys add to that musically when you're, you know, faced with some lyrics, and maybe how does that work, the songwriting process, I guess is what I'm trying to ask.
Well, I'd say we basically, you know, they write the lyrics and the chord progression, and then they bring it in, and then we work on it as a band, and we figure out together what fits and what doesn't. So we'll try different drum beats, we'll try different things on bass, and based on what the song needs, we kind of just develop it through that. So sometimes certain songs might be more focused on the lyrics, and then, you know, Julia and I and Michael and I we'll all keep it pretty simple musically and have the lyrics and the harmonies as the center. But sometimes it's like our instrumental song, like that's all musically driven, so then our parts get more complex, and we kind of...
That's when we really took it to the next level, where we made it, you know, like complex. And
with this growing experience, we've realized that simplicity is very important. And, you know, it's not, the guitar is not the most important part of the band. It's not the singing, it's not the bass, it's not the drums, it's not the keyboards, it's the song that's the most important part. And that's what we've come to realize, is that it doesn't really matter what we're doing a lot of the time, as long as it's affecting the song in a positive way. We're not overdoing it. And sometimes the song will call for that, but most of the time we just, you know, here's the song, enjoy the song, we're not showing off, here you go.
What would you say is one of your biggest accomplishments thus far as a band?
I think releasing our album
Yeah, for sure.
was one of the biggest accomplishments. I think at such a young age that we are, it's a pretty big deal. So I think that really was one of the big
and just to
stepping stones.
put on that, like, the show itself too, like not just the
Yeah,
album.
just-
like,
yeah.
because we had to, it was all like us that did it, you know? We got the venue, and then we basically did the rest, you know? We made the album, we purchased all the t-shirts, sold all the tickets, did all the promotion for it, and it was a huge project, and it all came together really nicely. I think that was probably our biggest accomplishment, just the entire thing.
No matter how long I stay.
What is one of your biggest goals as musicians?
I must say that the biggest goal would be to make this our living, you know? Being able to rely on this band would be spectacular, not having to do anything else. It's a big dream that a lot of people face, and it doesn't always happen. But, you know, we're gonna keep going, and we're gonna keep trying to make this happen no matter what. And that's definitely something big for us, is that if we could make it in the industry, play shows all the time, tour to all the little cities, all the big cities, and pretty much reach out to all these communities, get to know the world more with our music, it would be a dream come true. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how long I stay. Oh yeah. We're gonna ride through the rain. Till this day is through. All right, break it down.
This band will take you on a cinematic journey with every melody. With each member hailing from different parts of Canada, they each bring a unique element to their sound. For The Vocalist magazine presents, this is Shire.
Tongues are tied with salt from the sea.
I would say that our music is honest and educated.
Like, I feel like some people write music for movies, but I feel like I almost like create the movie for the music in my head. So like very visually driven colors and textures and kind of another world.
To go in the same vibe as Sarah, I would say like soundtrack. It's basically like a life.
Where did you first discover music?
It's always been a really strong force in my life, I think, throughout the years. But when I was a 2-month-old baby, my mom told me this. She was playing a Christmas carol, kind of on a tape, Silent Night, and apparently I just like wept and cried. Like, it was a very profound emotional experience, which she was very freaked out by as a new mother. But yeah, I think it's just always been something that's moved me very deeply in terms of self-discovery, though I'd say it really started with my music lessons when I was about 8 years old. I started with classical piano, so over the course of my classical piano education, I generally morphed into an aspiring jazz musician. So I'd play like things more in the improvised like jazz realm. And then the first show that I ever performed, I was playing piano and singing a jazz standard. So it really kind of married the two elements together for me, and now they're stuck. Wow. Wow.
Hey, teamwork. And
Wow, this mic is so nice. I've always been composing. Like, it just started with piano songs, and I'd make up little songs to tease my cousins, or little songs to express a certain emotion. And then I think in high school is when I started adding lyrics about romance and teenage hormones and stuff. So yeah. Before going to music school, I really had an idea in my head that I wanted to create my own project out of it, because that's just something I've always wanted to do. And then when I got to McGill, I realized that I was so surrounded by all of these talented people who had also spent hours and years just like working on their passion and dedicated to this craft. So there was one class actually that most of us were in at the time. We were all in our first year, a jazz theory class, and I was putting together this recording session because I had met this sound engineer also at McGill, and I just needed some players to kind of like put it all together. So I assembled a group of people, and yeah, some of them are still in the band today, which is really great. So I think McGill and just being in that environment helps me be exposed to the community and just meet a lot of people who are willing to work on stuff.
Mm-hmm. Tear-stained green eyes, chromatically descending.
The first performance happened in 2013 at the inaugural edition of a festival called Festival de la Voix that celebrated the art of voice. But I assembled this big group of string players. It was myself and I think 5 string players and 2 backup singers. I just like went all out for this little 20-minute performance. But just feeling that response, it was the first time I'd performed in a group really, like I'd been in a few bands, but kind of like thrown together things. But this was first time I really laid my heart out in a room in front of people, and I think, yeah, I was like, this is what I need to do.
And the band name Shire, what does it mean exactly, and how did you come up with it?
Yeah, it's a mix of the letters of my name actually. So Sarah, S-A-R-I-H, Rossi, R-O-S-S-Y. If you like flip them, creates Shire, add an E. Yeah, it's a little puzzle.
Visions flailing on by, having so much more to live.
When you compare the two EPs that you guys have put out, what are some maybe distinct differences between them, or are there differences at all?
Yeah, you can definitely hear the evolution between the two. The first one's a little more orchestral. I put it together all myself with a bunch of students and student engineers and stuff like that. So it's a little more DIY in style, but you can really hear kind of a younger character. You hear there were strings, there was a harp on some of the tracks. It's a little more orchestral and arranged. And then the second EP is a little more like full band sound, like we were the set members of the band at that point, so it sounds a little bit different, but we tend to do both. So Bare Bones comes from the first CD and Atlas Flags from the second.
My cymbal stand will not fall today.
Let's see about that.
It will not fall today.
casting shadows on the glow of your skin. So now I sit here in dark.
Every band has their characters. So I heard, Frédéric, that you're kind of like the dad of the band. And Sarah, you're kind of maybe the more eccentric one a little bit. Natalie, a little bit more energetic. So where does everybody fall in the band in terms of that?
I'm definitely like the manager, so like the father. I'm try to take care of everybody so that like they're all happy when we're all on tour and we're doing like really long days and stuff like that. So I try to take care of everyone.
Fred's definitely like, he drives the van.
Organized,
He makes sure that
meticulous.
we're all okay. Because touring is pretty stressful, but like he definitely provides for everyone, which is really, really nice. As well as plays violin, which is great. Natalie is like our puppy. She falls asleep in the van, and but like is very charismatic and outgoing, and kind of keeps it fun, which is great. Victor, the violist, is kind of like everything against the grain. If you say left, he will say right. Yeah, and he has a mission to like popularize the viola, or just, I guess, show people what a viola is. So he's kind of like the out there artist type. And then lastly, we have Joe, who's our bass player, who doesn't say much, but when he does, it's like powerful, musically and as a human, which is cool.
Guys, I took a mental health day today and just decided to practice 4 hours instead of going to school.
It brings a big diversity in the band, and I think that's a really good thing. To have Natalie from Vancouver, and then Joe, our bass player, from Moncton in New Brunswick, and from Gaspésie, east of Quebec, and then Victor is from Ottawa, and then Sarah's from Montreal. Having all that at the same place, with all different backgrounds, like, I mean, my grandfather was a fiddle player, which is quite different from what we're doing in the band, but you know, there's for sure a bit of that like,
yeah,
it's gonna come out, like sneaks out for like...
Like the Ashes Say thing is like, if we didn't know, like it doesn't communicate why you're there. It's just like mysterious, it's like random. It's really funny.
Every time we get on a stage for us is like the result of hours and hours of work, and every time we get on stage, it's just passion that we just can like just let go. For me, one of the most beautiful time was in Kamouraska about 2.5 years ago, and it was our first show sold out that we ever played. So it was like a really powerful experience with like little kids just sitting by us, and like, yeah.
Yeah, it was so beautiful.
We could see the sunset during the show on the water.
Yeah.
What's really cool about the Jazz Festival is that there's just so much happening all the time. And it's such a cool vibe. So we hung out all week downtown and we took little videos on the festival grounds. They have the area for kids with like all the outdoor musical instruments. And so we just went and like played music there through just being present in this place where there were so many people already. We really had, I think that the Jazz Festival is special because there's just so much happening.
Images of broken light which dance before me like a million eyes and call me on and on across the universe.
Rehearsing really isn't maybe what people think. Rehearsing is not like playing a show. Rehearsing is challenging in the sense that we challenge each other and we challenge each other's ideas, and we have to not be afraid to be honest with each other. And if I'm not performing well, or if I can do something better, or if we want to get deeper into something and draw something better out, sometimes that can cause friction or whatever. And so luckily we get along very well. But as we all grow as musicians individually, to come together as a group, it's just really an example of iron sharpening iron. We make each other better, but there's that's not an easy process. To become sharper as a group requires that friction and that rubbing on each other and bringing the best out of each other. So rehearsing can actually be quite a challenging process.
It's an orbit, it's a pattern, it's a cosmic clash to all that you live for. Right in front of your eyes.
I think to be said about the fact that there is 2 strings instrument in the band, which is kind of not typical because there's no guitar player. So when guitar plays, guitar will provide both harmony, melody, and rhythm. And when there is strings, it's really hard for us, me and Victor, to be more than melodic. So a lot of the time in the rehearsal, we're going to be trying to find new ways for the string to provide rhythm, a bit of harmonies, to fill up those other holes that happens maybe in the music. Yeah.
From a downward slope that leads to the sunny side.
Thanks to our education, we've all developed individually. Like we all spend at least a couple hours every day alone in a practice room developing our craft, so that when we come together, we're always bringing a better version of ourselves, actually. So what's been cool is that over the last 3 years, we've all grown so much at our instruments. So our artistry and our ability to express who we are as individuals through our musical instruments has become easier and it's become deeper. And so I think that bringing that to the group has just like enriched the group's sound and what we're able to do together, or what we're able to create.
We have 5 personalities really different, which all bring something different to the table, as you were saying. But at the same time, we're all doing that for the honesty of the music. We just want our music to be heard, basically. And so when the goal is that honest, simply, I think we're going from there. We're gonna go somewhere just because of that.
I think that that's what makes what we bring so rich and beautiful and unique, is because we're not homogenous. But because we don't mix, I think we adapt to each other and we see how we can work together and how we make each other better and how we can value each person's different qualities.
We got into a really interesting process of like, where do we want our music to go? There's so many options of like general music, and we want to have a consistent idea of the lyrics that are in the songs and on the album. And so it's been a really global question about like who we are as a person, each of us, one of us in the band, and then as a band, where do we want to go, simply. One of the things that we are going to be working towards on that new album is maybe having music that's going to be more to be listened while dancing or just being like up, instead of being like a show where people sit down and listen to music. So maybe there's a bit more groove from the drum and stuff like that.
And bass, drums and bass.
But yeah, it's been a really, really interesting process of like discovery, basically.
faces peril for a day. Sequestered origins hide below, hide away. Lace anniversary on a grave. Incandescent victories are figments, fragments, but filaments of shame. In an apricot sky, I hear the sirens cry. I see it now. What lies ahead is already. I see it now. As leader of the lost, I raise an atlas flag. Ooh, but I can dig and cry, and the truth, the bitter truth, will still slip by. Ooh, I need a fix from something alive to restore and relent from feeling the poison behind the curtain. I'm undeserving. I see it now. What lies ahead is already. I see it now. As leader of the lost, I raise an atlas flag. I see it now, now. I see it now. As leader of the lost, I raise an atlas flag.
What would you say is your biggest accomplishment as a band so far?
We've played a lot of shows.
Yeah.
I think.
I think that's something different from a bit different from other new artists. Since I'm from Gaspésie, I basically tried to bring the band over there a few times, which worked. And so when we calculate how many shows we played over the past like 3 years now, we were like around 150, which is like amazing.
It's a lot of shows. But I think what's more special about the number is that the number of cities that we've gotten to visit and the number of people that we've been able to touch through all of those shows. So that's, I think, a big accomplishment that we're all really proud of.
And I would add that in order to play all of those shows and to touch all of those people, our accomplishment as a group, as a team, is that 3 years later, we're still here. And we actually work better together today than we ever have, really, I would say. Like, our ability to pack the van and be organized, and it's an accomplishment. And understand that when we go to these places, when we go to play these shows, everybody has their role, everybody has their strength, and we've really learned to play off of each other's strengths in order to succeed in our goal, that is to play honest music and meet people and travel.
What are some of the biggest challenges that come with pursuing a musical career?
Ooh, employment, security, societal disapproval. No, I think it's generally, we're all about to graduate, so I guess we'll answer that question on the next episode. But I think it's a lot of open communication, like I said before. Like, we all have to be totally open and honest with each other and just very clear and good at communicating. I think those are true with any aspect of life, but especially when you're on the road with people in one very small hotel room, one very small van, in one very small recording studio. Like, a lot of it is just learning how to deal with people, and I think that's been a big challenge because we're all so different.
The sum is greater than its parts, that's for sure. We actually do have a role in society, believe it or not. And I think that if, as not just artists, but as artisans, we take what we can contribute to society seriously, if we take our craft seriously and we're committed to honing our craft and creating something for others, then we'll continue to have this sense of mission where we have something to create, we have something to express, we have something to bring to people, and everything that we do is in order to accomplish that mission. I think we all have our own weaknesses. I am very familiar with my weaknesses, but we can encourage each other to stay motivated in the little things and faithful in the little things so that we can really accomplish this mission together.
Where do you see yourselves in the next 5 or 10 years as a band?
I would like to travel the world and see the world through music. And really, I think the meaning of life boils down to we're not so different as humans. And I think we've really seen that through connecting people all over Canada thus far. And I'd like to kind of leave the continent, the country, and just see where that could go. Like, I'm really interested in touring through Europe and other parts of the world. So hopefully at that point, we will be kind of needing to stamp our passports a little more.
Yeah. I think in the last 3 years, we've experienced the first baby step of what we're gonna be able to accomplish together as a group. And I think that as we learn to work together and be open and hone our craft so that we can create more, and as we work towards excellence as individuals and as a group, I really think that what we've accomplished during this one little season of our lives is really just going to be like the launch pad for what's coming. Yeah.
Full of metaphors. Yeah, it's going to be fun, I think.
Far across town, beneath the moon and the stars, that's where it all went down. I remember it clearly. I do. Over oceans, among those of the sea.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Montréal en musique. Aujourd'hui, on vous présente une auteure-compositeur-interprète multi-instrumentiste à la plume très bien aiguisée. Elle nous propose des textes intimes et engagés sur une musique folk-rock à forte ascendance blues. Sur scène, qu'elle soit seule ou avec son band, c'est toujours corps et âme qu'elle livre son spectacle dans lequel se mélangent musique et spoken word. Aujourd'hui à l'émission, on découvre Samuel.
J'ai commencé à écrire de la poésie, j'avais 7 ans.
La poésie?
Ouais. Je voulais écrire un roman, mais c'était long. C'était trop long d'écrire un roman. Fait que finalement, la poésie, c'était... Je sais pas, dans ma tête, c'était super cool. Puis j'ai un peu jamais arrêté d'écrire de la poésie. Puis quand j'ai commencé à jouer de la guitare, ça c'est juste comme j'étais pas tout à fait capable d'apprendre les chansons que j'avais envie d'apprendre. Fait que c'était comme plus simple d'écrire. C'est pas gênant pantoute.
Une fois une princesse autonome qui vivait dans l'attente d'absolument.
Mon papa était auteur, compositeur, interprète. Et c'est ça, je suis un peu née là-dedans. Là. Il y avait des guitares un peu partout. Quand j'étais petite, je le suivais en show. C'était comme Disneyland, là, d'aller en coulisses, d'aller dans des hôtels, les festivals, avoir ma passe, backstage. C'était vraiment cool. J'ai roulé des fils. J'avais 5-6 ans, je roulais des fils, je transportais des guitares. C'était vraiment... c'est ça, c'était mon univers.
Aujourd'hui, tu peux dire que tu es multi-instrumentiste, justement.
Oui.
Tu as grandi dans la musique, dans les guitares, justement.
Oui.
Donc, tu joues de la guitare, tu joues de la batterie.
Oui.
Quel autre instrument tu
Je
joues?
joue de la basse aussi. C'est probablement, quand je joue du rock, l'instrument que je préfère jouer. Puis j'ai d'autres projets. Je suis auteur-compositeur, mais j'ai aussi des projets de rock. Donc, quand je suis pas en train d'être auteur-compositeur, j'aime ça jouer de la basse, puis de la batterie. Puis, bon, guitare acoustique, guitare électrique, ukulélé, machin. Am I hearing it or do I need it?
No, I said, do you need it?
Yeah, please.
Si on revient en arrière, là, au tout début, est-ce que tu te rappelles la première fois que tu étais sur scène, que tu as fait un spectacle?
Ben en fait, je suis allée à l'école du Plateau, qui était une école de musique. Donc, à chaque année, on faisait des spectacles de musique. Mais la première fois que je suis montée sur une scène avec une guitare pour chanter, c'était genre secondaire 4 pour un projet de coopération internationale. On a fait un show bénéfice. Puis j'ai chanté une tune de Nirvana. C'est la première fois que je chantais devant des gens. J'étais terrorisée. Et ça s'est quand même bien passé.
Moi, ça m'intrigue toujours. Ça ressemblait à quoi tes premières chansons? Quand on écoute aujourd'hui, tes textes, c'est très... Tu sais, t'as une plume assez raffinée.
La première chanson que j'ai écrite en français, c'était une chanson sur les doubles standards.
OK.
De genre, comme, qui parlait de